What is up, YouTube? McIntyre here. Today I wanted to bring you guys a Zeratul video. I've recently been asked and requested this for a while now, and it's been about 2 weeks since the hero has been updated. I had things to deal with as far as denial, joining that team and kind of trying to practice to get onto their roster, which I've recently been picked up by them, and Thanksgiving came up, so I've been MIA for about a week and a half now. But I'm going to be coming out with more videos this week, and this is the first video that I wanted to get out there because this is one that was requested a lot when the Zeratul change did happen. So to start, I want to go over pros and cons of Zeratul. The pros that we're going to be going over today, the very first one is going to be his early game. This is, I think, Zeratul's biggest strength, especially with the new patch. Because of the talent changes to Zeratul, you now are getting Vorpal Blade and crit at level 4. The crit spike is a big deal when it comes to early game ganks because it feels like a lot of the time if you have this crit, you have enough damage to push someone over and kill them. Before you got this at level 7, and a lot of the time like a first objective had already spawned by level 7. So getting level 4 before, or getting this power spike before 4 or at 4 is a really big deal. If you look at a map like Sky Temple, by level 4 the shrines have spawned, okay, and now you're gonna have combo slash at that first fight. The same would go for like Cursed Hollow with the tributes. The tribute, you're gonna be around level 4 when the first tribute spawns, and you'll have this crit, right? And so this, you're gonna be able to pick up kills using that. Obviously Vorpal Blade at level 1 is still really good, and you can get early game kills prior to 4 with Vorpal Blade. But the most important power spike for me is Wormhole at 7. This is going to allow you to blink aggressively without getting yourself out of position. So a lot of the time with Zeratul prior to this patch, you would walk up behind the person to, you know, have to get the bomb and then blink out. But now you just can do the blink rotation preset, or now at level 7, which is going to help you stay safe through all points of the game, more or less. So this is a big deal, and for this reason, his early game is insanely strong, and one of the reasons why we're seeing such a resurgence in him. The next is going to be that he's invisible. Obviously, this doesn't mean so much in pro games, but it still does. A lot of the time in pro games, players are paying a lot of attention to the minimap and to the objectives and what's happening in the game, not so much to the actual screen, right? And a good Zeratul player will use this invis to create pressure on the map. Because you're not seen, you can soak lanes while being invisible, right? So on the minimap, you don't show up. So essentially create pressure by not showing while being present, you know? Unlike hiding in a brush, you can hide in the side of a lane, and then if someone top pushes in, you're just sitting there invisible. A lot of the time you see Zeratul players stand still. It's because it's the hardest for the enemy to see you. And if you stand still at a good spot, a lot of the time you can either find vision of the enemy team, right, without being seen. Some heroes can't interact with you when you're invisible, or they'll throw skill shots and they'll miss, right? It's much harder to hit an invisible hero than it is visible. So for that reason, that is one of his main strengths, is that he does turn invisible. And although in pro games, in higher ranked games, players mostly can see this invis, it's still difficult to deal with and is something that works in his favor. The next is going to be his high burst damage. So this goes kind of hand in hand with his strong early game, but his burst is really powerful, right? If an ETC slides a target and he blink and combos that target, he's going to put out all of his damage. He's a cooldown based hero, so all of his damage comes out there, and it comes out quickly, right? Just like a Jaina comboing, Zeratul is a lot of the same way. He's very good at poking, and then when he needs to full commit to a fight, he can do so. So for that reason, this is one of his strengths, is that he has really strong follow-up and high burst, right? So he can poke, reset, and then eventually he'll get the kill. And for that reason, you know, I think that he's incredibly powerful, especially against this new sustained meta where burst healing, like against Malfurion, for example, Malf's going to have a much harder time against a Zeratol than, say, the old Uther. The next is going to be Void Prison. Void Prison as his level 10 ability. The thing about Void Prison with Zeratul is that it's either going to make you look incredibly powerful and OP, or it's going to make you look useless, right? And like when we look at like examples of just VP throughout my career of playing Heroes of the Storm, I've had great VPs that win games, and I've had VPs that are so terrible that we just lose the team fight. And we've seen this throughout Zeratul gameplays and in tournaments. I think for me, the one that always comes to mind is with Michael Udall when he VP'd, I think, a catapult instead of the core, right? And it was in a game, and they would have won the game had he VP'd the core. But those decisions that you have to make so quickly can be difficult, and if you make those decisions correctly, then you look really strong. And for that reason, VP is a pro of this hero. You have the ability to make a play that's going to look strong and be strong, right? But you also have the ability to, not, right? And that is going to be the first con of Zeratul, is that he is difficult. This hero is not easy to play. By no means can you just start playing the game and then become a god of Zeratul. There's so many things about him that you need to understand. You need to understand the timing of his Vorpal Blade. You need to understand how much damage you're capable of doing. You need to understand if you, Vorpal back in, can you VP and can you turn a kill? Do you need to VP their backline? Do you need to VP their tank and go on their backline? Do you, all these things, there's so many things going on in this hero. He's one of the most complex in the game. And for that reason, this is going to be a con of him. He's kind of has the zero or hero effect, and the fact that, like, if you do really well on him, you look like a god, okay? And if you miss your bombs and you're missing your VPs and you're stacking your crits and stuff like that, then you're gonna look really weak. So, he's not a hero that you can just take up and then, oh my god, this character, I'm playing Samuro, I hit Q and then I killed the person, like, wow, I'm so good, like, this character is awesome. Like, it's not like that for Zeratul. However, if you get really strong at him, you will feel really powerful and really impactful, because he is a very impactful hero. So that is one of his biggest cons, is that he is hard to play. And if you don't know his limits, then you're going to struggle to play him. The second con is that he is fragile, in the sense that if you get caught as Zeratul, you will die. Like, he doesn't have a lot of health. If he gets poked, a lot of that damage is going to stick. With that said, though, if you trade correctly, you'll never outlose a trade as Zeratul, right? If you blink on a Vala and crit her and W her, then you will outtrade her. But if you blink on a Vala and then she tumbles to where your wormhole is and chases you, then you're not going to get away, unless VP is up, right? That could be your last resort. But he doesn't have that kind of ability to misplay like a lot of heroes. With Illidan, for example, if you get caught out, then you can Q to your teammate and you can escape, right? Like with Muradin, you have your leap. With this guy, you do have blink, but if you're blinking aggressively, like a lot of Zeratuls do, and then they plan on wormholing back, if the person or the enemy team plays into your wormhole, then you do get caught out and you will die pretty quickly, because he doesn't have a very high health pool, although they did just buff it. So with that, like, you have to be very careful of your cooldowns with this character, and if you do overextend, you will get caught, as he is very cooldown dependent. The last con is going to be the cooldown dependency of him. He is very weak when it comes to sustained damage. He's not going to just attack the ETC over and over until the ETC is weak enough that you can push him, right? Instead, he's going to have the Vala attack the ETC over and over, and then use his high burst to kill that ETC, right? So a lot of the time, Zeratul has a hard, a difficult time dealing with high health, high sustain. Because if you can't get to a person to a window in which he can kill them, then he never will kill anyone. So if an enemy goes like Tassadar, for example, against Zeratul, then Zeratul has a hard time, because all the damage that he's putting into the enemy team usually is getting either task shielded, or the people that have the task shields are resustaining back his poke. So Zeratul works really well when the other team has low sustain or low health pool heroes. Like Li Ming's, Falstads, Valas, like those are Zeratul's favorite heroes to kill, because they're so low health pools. But you have things like Tychus, who if Zeratul steps into, then Tychus steps back into him. And by the time that Zeratul has used his whole combo, Tychus is still about half health, right? Whereas if Vala gets comboed by Zeratul, Zeratul can almost 100 to 0 her. So that is another thing about Zeratul is his sustained damage and his ability to kill high health pool heroes is very, very weak. So sometimes you have a hard time as him if you have to kill big tanky front lines, and you really have to rely on your team to carry you through. So now that we've kind of gone over his pros and cons, I'm going to hop in, show you the build really quick. I'll link a video to the combos of Zeratul when I go over the build. I don't want to talk too much about it, and I'm going to hop into the gameplay. So I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, so we quickly want to go over the build. I don't want this part to last too long, so I'm gonna just kind of dump talents and then show you what the talents do. So the first one's going to be Vorpal Blade. On a 15-second cooldown, you can re-blink back to the target you just hit. So as you can see, the little thing above it, the target dummy's head, as long as that's on the person, then if I activate Vorpal, I will blink back to the person, right? And that goes for minions too. It's important to know that you can Vorpal to minions. A lot of people don't know that. So if I punch this and run this way and they chase me, then I can Vorpal back, right? A lot of the time too, if you Vorpal and right click immediately and hold, then you won't auto the person that you hit. So sometimes it's good to reactivate yourself. So if you're almost stealth and then you hit F and then start walking, you'll turn invisible, right? If the other person, a lot of the time when people are chasing, you know, they'd be like right clicking after you, like and then you Vorpal and then you're invisible walking the opposite direction. Sometimes it can outplay people, more or less. Remember that you can outplay people with this talent, and you should use it to its maximum. Combo slash, again, every time you use an ability, you get a crit. I'll talk more about this in the video that I'll put on the screen somewhere, hopefully right around now. But anyways, you cast a spell, your next attack is a crit. So because of that, you want to sequence your abilities so that you bomb, right? That makes sense. So yeah, this is a really good talent. And again, this is a super spike for Zeratul, as this allows him to burst people out like at level 4. At level 7, we're going to take Wormhole. So this is going to allow us to do that combo that we just did, but we'll be able to blink back. So we blink. All right, and now we're putting out our burst. There's our burst damage. VP at 10, just you know, VP at 13. Always mending strikes. Sometimes I take Spell Shield if the enemy has like high lean poke or something like that. But Mending Strikes is really good as you heal a lot of your damage when you burst. Plus, this talent allows you to jungle on Zeratul solo once you hit 13. At 16, I take Sentence for Death. So, targets take 50% increased damage while they're bombed. So, once you take this talent, you need to Blink, Bomb, Crit. So, Blink, Bomb, Crit. Alright, so now that's your rotation. You Blink, Bomb, Auto, Q, Auto, Blink out. And if you do it fast, you can get 2 crits in. Alright. Okay, so, and then at 16 now, you basically want to just do exactly the first combo. Blink, bomb, cleave, crit, right? Blink, crit, or blink, bomb, crit, Q, crit, rewind, then do the same thing, then blink out. Okay. Again, I'm gonna go more over this in my combo video, but I'll do it really quick for you. All right. So you're just getting in an extra bomb and Q, and that's basically it for the build. Now we are gonna hop into the game, and I'll talk about things you want to be doing inside of the gameplay. Okay, so we're hopping into this game. Forewarning, there's like a dude running a machine outside. I think for Leafs. He keeps kind of passing by my window. I'm not sure how it's picking up on the mic, but I apologize in advance, but I want to get this video done, so hopefully it's not too bothersome. But this is a Hero League game. I was duoed with King Caffeine. I am playing Zeratul. This game is insane, by the way, so it's going to be a really good game to watch, and I'm really excited to go over it. So again, I am going to be playing Zeratul. Looking at their team, they kind of have a single counter for me with the Brightwing, but when we talked about heroes that are problematic for Zeratul, we talked about high sustained and high health pool, and a lot of the heroes on the enemy team are exactly that, right? We have Brightwing, who is going to be able to polymorph me, give Spell Shield, Blink Heal, and Peekaboo. We have the Illidan, who when he metas is going to be very difficult to kill. And we have the Zarya, who's going to be shielding on top of all of this, right? So this game is actually very difficult for Zeratul, but if I rotate correctly and find windows to get picks, then I think, you know, I can have a really good game. So I noticed that basically there's no way that I'm going to kill these people top because of all that support that they have. So I do what most Zeratuls should be doing, and you just want to look for the target that you can kill. Here, I don't know how I didn't think that this was the correct one, as he's like literally orb walking. But yeah, it's a pretty failed gank. We do end up getting these coins, and this guy goes invisible here, like I'm not going to see him. Because of Vorpal Blade, when you auto attack Samuro and he splits, you still have your Vorpal on top of him. So there I punched a dummy, but I noticed that my Vorpal was on this guy. Plus you can obviously see the Samuro that's running away. I end up missing my bomb, but I can still blink here to kind of cork this corner. So instead of him being able to slide by, I kind of cork the corner so he has to go around me. And then, yeah, I get a whole window to punch him pretty much. And we end up picking up Samuro. So here, I wish that this Lily pushed the lane with me so that we can punish the enemy team from getting soak. Instead, the Lily just goes and turns in 5 coins. Which, we should have got these coins turned in anyways, right? If we push this wave and then go, we get those coins turned in. So I trade here with the Illidan, and I was going to try to outplay him by waiting until he queued and then blinking here, but the monk shows up and I have to blink away. So now I tap, and these guys are fairly weak down here. I think right here I just want the globe, and now I want to get pressure back on the map. So again, if I'm not showing, then the other team doesn't know where I'm at. And with Monk bottom lane, it opens up a window for this Brightwing. I see this Brightwing kind of out of position. I also just noticed that the Zarya shielded, so there's no shield here. So I'm going to be fairly aggressive on this gank. And what I want to be doing here is using my blink to get in a body block position and then follow up bomb immediately. So basically blink to melee range. You see here, I blink essentially right beside of the Brightwing. So it's much easier to land my spike. And then I get my first auto on him. So now I can Vorpal after. And then we just kind of pick up a kill, right? But that's a really good way to punish bad play. Here, I think we can kill this guy because we have a whole minion wave. This is where Calf misplays. But we have a whole minion wave here. And if I blink aggressively, like if I blink and cork up this corner, he can't get past. We have a whole minion wave. This is really bad. That was really bad. I don't know. I don't think we thought there was as much there as there was, but it's totally fine. We get a lot of chunk on him. And now I'm just kind of pushing out waves. For some reason, this monk tries to go on me. It's so weird. He even activated his E. But now I need to get back to rotating. I had mid just to pick up the globe for mana. But yeah, I want to start rotating now because I need to hunt for this Illidan. I saw him rotate this way, so I assumed he was going our easies. And we end up spotting him out here. So he thought about going to the easies. And he decided not to, but because we were already in position, we punished his play. So again, as you've seen so far, like all I'm doing is rotating the map and ganking. I can't really soak lanes, although I can every once in a while. But for the most part, it's all about ganking. So here we decide to, again, go on Brightwing. I'm in position to get a bomb, so I don't have to blink, right? I want to hold my blink. So I walk basically up to melee range again and stick the bomb. Oh, look, I actually decided to bomb then blink to body block. So I think that's fair. And I'm just kind of sticking on this monk. I blink again to try to get the body block. And there I can, now I have wormhole because we're 7, so I can blink, do a damage combo, and then wormhole out. And then if I choose to re-engage, I can just vorpal back in. Here I was like worried that they were dying top, but they weren't. So I need to do exactly what I was doing before and get back to pressuring people that are by themselves. So in this case, I decide that Illidan's probably doing hard camp. And I'm going to go check if he's weak. So he's pretty healthy, but he just used evasion. So I get good chunk on him. But I had a really bad feeling that Brightwing was going to Z. And so I chose not to stick around there. I could have probably punched him for a little bit longer. But again, when I talked about Zeratul's pros and cons, he's very good at bursting. He's not so good at sustained damage. So if I'm sitting there auto trading with Illidan, I lose that. This right here was a really bad play by me. I also got incredibly unlucky because this Brightwing spots me. And just gets that single dismount. Plus Lily, I think, is auto-attacking a clone. But I end up losing five coins there. Honestly, I had no right trying to hit this Illidan. I had no escape route. I figured I could chunk him and then he would kind of like cower to me. But he did what he should have and he just re-engaged. And again, this is a con of Zeratul and the fact that I do not have the ability to, you know, I'm very fragile, and if I misplay my cooldowns, then I do get punished for it. And there you could see I got punished by playing incorrectly. Alright, so we're back up now. And I think we want to keep, Illidan from turning in. We don't really need a team fight here as their whole team's collapsing. But we are getting pretty decent chunk. Again, they have triple support Illidan comp. So we decide here to just give up a turn in. Not the biggest deal. We almost even killed a Samro. So yeah, not a big deal. We're about to hit 10. We'll get VP. I think I looked at pressure. So here I'm using my invisible powers, right? This is what I was talking about with invisibility. Like, these are not bad players, but you're probably like, you know, as this Zarya, you're focusing on like, this is your normal vision, and you're probably, you know, you push this wave and then you pan down to start the hard camp, right? And in that case, you don't see me on the minimap like you normally would. So he has no idea that I'm in this rush because this here is invisible. And we end up picking up, I'm pretty sure, a pretty free double kill. My team kind of shows our hand when we push through. But I get a nice blink into a bomb on Brightwing. And then a good root follows up. Yeah, ends up getting a double kill here. I think this is where I request for my team to push. And then Joe goes soak top. But I'm 90% certain that no one pushes with me. And they all go to turn in. Oh, my boy Mouth is pushing, but he has yet to auto attack. Or Moonfire. Okay. So I like that scouting drone on the wall. So we did have 2 dead. We pretty much should push bot for free because we get this for free. And their team's doing boss anyways. So there's no reason for us to attempt to rotate up. Just pressure bot. Get a turn in. We'll be a fort up. Just want to hold our XP lead. This is going to become a big deal to the XP as the game goes on. You really need to get buildings and stuff while you can early, while you're kind of stronger. You know, against an Illidan comp, I believe that they have the stronger composition here. But we have a better early game, and that's where we get a lot of our gains in the early game. A lot of these picks that I've gotten has kind of kept us ahead. So their team is doing pretty well in this team fight. I think I get a really good VP here. Again, this is like 0 or hero VPs, right? So we see Samurai's kind of getting chunked out, and I made a note in my head that if I VP Brightwing, then most of the time the person that we're attacking dies. So here I get a good VP on Brightwing and Illidan plus clones. Samurai's out, and he's now I'm gonna kind of walk in here to body block him from getting into my VP. Alright, and he hits Blade Storm to try to deal damage before he dies. Terrible idea, but we pick up the kill. And we just now can defend the boss. We traded forts, and we got a kill. I want to say Lily was bot pushing that whole time too. But now we've hit 13. I am going to get mending strikes. And now I can do jungle camp pretty much by myself, like any jungle camp, because I can sustain it. Here, I remember I wanted to hold Vision of Turn-In. So this is what I was talking about before, where you can just stand still on Zeratul. A lot of time, if you just stand here, the other team won't see you. And I'm holding Vision of here, here, and Turn-In, right? So I have Vision of both areas that they could rotate. I assume that they're on hards, so I want to get bot pushing out, and this is where I think I was telling Calf to go to Turn-In. So I didn't want to give them a free Turn-In, and I wanted to get this bot soak push. Yeah, they were in fact turning in, and Calf gets break on both, luckily. So now this is, I think, a fairly good fight for us. I get engaged on from Fog here, which is kind of scary. But a good blink up to the right gets me out. Monk goes on me and hit a bomb on him, but I think Joe's about to try to shield. Yeah, he gets outplayed so hard. But we are in a 4v5, so this isn't a terrible position for us. There, I didn't get the punch off on Brightwing, so if I got the punch, I could Vorpal the Emerald. But because we killed Samurai, we just take their easies. These are free right now. The enemy team were to contest, we would kill them. Honestly, feel like we could have killed that guy there. But no reason, we have coins. We just want to get turned in. We need a few more coins. I think this is where the game starts to go sour. Let's see. I can't remember, but I want to say the game goes sour here. And the other team starts to get a spike in their talents, essentially. Actually, a lot of this team fight is because I VP very poorly. So here's the forced void prison that I was talking about. Again, in my head, I have the idea that if I VP the Brightwing, then we win. So I do exactly that. Unfortunately, Illidan had queued back, or W'd, one or the other. So this VP is kind of wasted. I mean, to be fair, like, if Mouth walks up and ults, it's not terrible. But he walks into the VP and gets polyed. So I would have timed that silence, and I think we would have killed them all here, because I think we 100% killed this monk. Yeah, I think we kill their whole team here if that silence gets off. But instead, yeah, he walks into the VP, gets polyed, so misplayed by Malfurion. I missed my bomb here, and then I'm just like, you run, I'm going to try to create space. I actually tried to stand here invis, but he has immolation. Yeah, and we get almost wiped. They get a lot of coins, and we've kind of losing our level lead now. So it goes to show you that if you're the Malfurion there, don't step into the VP. Just stay on the outside of it. And either trust the Zeratul to drop it, or let the VP just go full duration. I just don't think... You can even just time it when you see the VP kind of fading away. But yeah, so they get a turn in. The game's going to start scaling into their favor now, and a lot of these team fights are going to get harder and harder. Alright, Brightwing's more difficult now to kill because she has Ice Block. Samuro is going to scale with his talents. Illidan is going to get harder to kill, so is Monk. And obviously our damage is starting to deplete, right? As we level up, we get weaker. Zeratul doesn't like scale very well. His strength comes in his early game and his burst damage. And right now, like, our team doesn't really have a way to chunk someone out, and their team's gonna start griefing. So here we make a really heads up play. Their team is doing boss, so instead of rotating like most people would do, we just push bot out. We have 2 camps here anyways, so we pretty much get a free top bot keep for this. And this Brightwing misplays, so I blink, bomb, Q, and I get that auto off, right? And then I decide that I can Vorpal back for a couple more punches, so I end up picking up a kill, which again is really good. Like, Brightwing dying there is terrible for their team. So I think this is where I was saying, like, we should try to get one more kill and then we can end. But ends up getting really greedy, and that's where these retreat pings come in to play. Randomly, this guy like stealths to, I don't know, flank us, so he dies instantly. The Malfurion just ults. I don't really know what the Samurai was thinking. If he Blade Storms there, he dies. But yeah, so we get bot keep and 2 kills, and they get the boss. And I think the boss nets them like 2 towers. That's it. So it look like sometimes you can punish the enemy team if they do boss, if you rotate correctly. It's important to note at this point in the game too, I'm looking to bomb. Like, if I want to kill something, right, I'll bomb first and then do my normal rotation. So you'll notice it here, I'm going to instantly kill the mage. So I bomb, then crit, then Q, then crit, and I kind of like one shot out the wizard, which is the hardest hitting minion on this camp, by the way. So that's why a lot of pro players always kill that first, if you didn't know that already. So you guys are obviously in for a treat, as I just looked at the time, and there's still another 12 minutes left in this game. Like I said at the beginning, this gameplay was insane, and it was incredibly difficult. So here, I wanted to push out bot so we could get Kata pressure bot, but Calf was saying don't get caught. And we have no vision. Like, when I was holding this point before, this is the point that needs to be held for me to not be scared. Instead, I'm just standing down here soaking this out. Now we see, you know, our team is looking to engage. Honestly, didn't know that they just used everything there. Like, we used our shield on Jove. But silence hits one person, just Monk. The Illidan engages. I actually get a really fat VP here. But between Illidan and Blade Master, since we've already used silence, we struggle to kill. Actually, Calf hits a really good bomb on the Blade Master and he insta dies. But he goes for the play on Illidan and gets polyed. This is where I almost outplay them. I think I live here. If you'll see. But this is the wormhole juke that I was telling you guys about. Alright, so they're super focused on me going this way. But I run up. Like, so much that this Illidan doesn't even realize that I'm up here. Like, that's how, like, broken this guy's ankles. You guys just see him now turning right. He's like, wait a second. But yeah, so here I think I live if I juke this. This is a very obvious Q spot for Brightwing too, and I walk pretty much right into it. Like, yeah, so if I juke that, I have another blink and I live. I could blink here and get away. I would have been able to blink and run up this way. Yeah. Would have blinked over, ran through the base, maybe come up here and back like in this brush or one of these brushes. So misplay there by me, but almost juke city. So they get turned in. Again, we just like continuously lose fights for a while now, actually. Here we get a really good fight, but our team is so weak compositionally that we can't kill anybody. And now their team shows up. I do have VP here though. So I ended up VPing the mouth. And they're all silenced out of this. We just have no way to get the mouth out. Nice kill by Joe. I think that kill kind of baits me into thinking that we can win. And I get chased down by the triple support Illidan. So this is where we were afraid that the enemy team would core, and I honestly think they could have. If they turn in here and then just walk mid, then they can core. So what Calf did was he showed his rotation top to like try to pull people top, and he ended up pulling the monk top. So the game doesn't end, which I think it should have there. And now we're trying to get to 20. We just want to soak out. I think boss is up top. Yeah. So now we know, like, if they do the boss, then we lose, right? So we have that clause. That clause is there. If they get boss, we lose. So we need to be careful of them ripping boss. So when we were all here, this scares me, and this is when I tell my team to go up because I think they're gonna boss. And then instead we say, never mind, let's go core. Okay, so this is gonna pull people, hopefully, to their core. That's the idea here, is that we get a turn in, and we pull their team to their core because we're pressuring, right? If they don't back here, we win the game. And voila, their whole team backs. So, you know, instead of rotating to the boss, which we might not have been able to, we rotate through bottom to try to core. I VP here. This is like pretty sloppy VP. I just didn't want to fight. Honestly, that was a like VP to disengage. But yeah, not my best VP. Not my best VP. And now I don't have VP for like when we start team fighting. So I go full damage rotation on Illidan, which ends up not going so hot. But I am punching Illidan out and targeting him. You'll see here he blinks. And then I'm going to Vorpal after him with Calf. Oh, I must have punched that clone. But I do go after him with my wormhole, but I get Blade Mastered down. This is like, again, that VP was like used to disengage, and then we kept fighting. So having the VP is really bad. Calf goes for the kill here. Ends up killing the Illidan. And then this is like a really intense team fight that's about to happen. This mouth hill, I think, wins us this fight. Because now Calf's able to kill like basically everyone. But this is where the... Oh man, Monk Q'd him twice and he died. But this is where the plot thickens. This is happening to our core. These guys, instead of backing, they just walk it out. Which I respect, because had they have backed, they might have gotten stopped. This guy's chasing pretty hard, right? I don't know why that mouth stood still there for a second, but I almost thought this guy was a bot. But we're going to see the play of the game right here. You guys ready for the play of the game? That. Right there. Oh my gosh. Our core is at 6%. Looks like that wasn't even the play of the game. I thought he blinded and like that meant the minions couldn't hit it, but that's so untrue. This is actually a really good stop by me. I have VP in case, but I hit bomb, do a rotation, Hit bomb, do another rotation. Blink to body block. He throws this onto the core. But it's short. And then for some reason, Mouth just rips his ultimate. I'm pretty... Let me rewind that. I'm pretty sure that... I'm not actually pretty sure. I'm 100% sure that she was like 5% when the Mouth ult was used. Let's see. Well, we do stop them. We stopped them. We're at 6%, and there's Samuro Illidan still up. So I'm thinking to myself, I gotta stop Samuro. He's gonna go for it, right? I gotta shut this down. So I now have to play goalie and goaltend this base. This guy thinking he's a genius. He clones up 2, and then he walks in front of them in Viz. You can see him here. So I'm gonna cleave. I actually open with a bomb like a G. He ends up re-blinking because he got the 20 talent. And goes down here. Luckily for us too, his Brightwing decided to die with him. So they stagger 2 more deaths. Okay, so this is the hardest point in the game because it's like, how do we win? You know, like, how do we win? And in my head, I'm saying, I can stay with the VP. They do the boss, we win the game. Alright, but then it hits me. If Illidan Monk come at our core, we snap loose. Like, I can't defend Illidan Monk. I just can't. So I need Lily. Okay, because the reason we need Lily is if Lily blinds them, then we can 100% stop. Alright, now here it goes again. Alright, so we're just playing goalie. This Illidan panics. He's by himself. There's no Monk. I open up on him. I hit my bomb. He blinks. I thought he'd evasion, but he didn't. But I decide to re-engage with a Vorpal. And now we see Monk. Okay, so Monk's on his own. I punch his Illidan out. I rewind. He gets pretty chunked. He's like 20%. But we need to get to this guy. And here's the godly lead defense. Our whole team backs instead of bossing. I honestly think they could have bossed, but yeah, so now we see the Illidan up here, and this guy does the most insane thing and gets the eye. Had I misplay here. Here we go. You ready? So this is how important 0 to hero right here. Blink, crit. Look at the bomb. Oh. And then I'm pissed, and I'm like, no. So I Vorpal to punch him. He evasions it. I'm like, get out. Anger VP right here. Because I'll just Q him. Blinks. And then I'm like, wow, this Illidan took blink. What the heck? So misplays left and right. Vorpal misses. Bomb misses. He gets away. Not good. Not a good look. Because now I can't VP core if they all in our core. So now I'm thinking to myself, I have to back because again I just can't let them. I just can't let them core, right? And now I don't have VP, so I need to catch them like here. This is where they're gonna be at, and this scouting drone is actually insanely good because that's holding the choke that they're probably gonna run through to get to our core, right? So then we decide, okay, if we get a turn in, we win, right? And it's true. If we get turn in at this point in the game, we win the game. And I'm saying we turn in, we GG, and we're really close at this point. We have 10 coins. We need 3 more. And these scouting drones are going to be MVP here. So we see them coming. And again, I don't have VP. So I have to be careful, but I need to start forcing their hand immediately. So I'm opening up with a bomb crit. As you can see, boom, all that chunk. Then I go into a Q crit. Right now he's at 50%. Okay, no rewind has been used. And now the Vorpal into rewind, immediate combo. So I'm trying to burst out that Samuro. That pull ends up ending Brightwing's life and career. And we end up picking up a double kill. Now Illidan's feeling pressured again. and he thinks that he needs to go core, and this is where we chase him down for like literally the rest of the game. They get a turn in, but we don't care. Like, it's gonna shoot a bot keep. I'm saying, okay, I got him. I think I got him. I think I got him. Meta. Luckily, we have Tracer. So now we have to back. We have to be careful with Zarya and Monk. They can both backdoor. And here comes the Monk. I'm saying go damage. I can VP the core. This shield's pretty healthy. And when this Zarya shoots her ult, that's when I VP the core. I kind of misplay here. Honestly, I could have VP'd technically just the core. But this isn't bad because we just snap kill Zarya. And then we kill the Monk. And just like that, the Joanna solos the core, and we take the W. One of the most insanely painful games. Man, that Joe has Storm Shield, I just noticed. But we got there. And that game I had a lot of fun playing. Like, that game was insane. I don't know if you can look at the stats, but I don't think you can. If I quit replay. Let's see. But yeah, I ended up having a really good game. Kept it cool and kept focused on what I needed to do to get the win, right? And I think that's important with Zeratol is even if the game goes south, and even just in Hero League in general, you just stay cool, stay calm, and like figure out how you win, right? This game's kind of a puzzle game in the sense that you just need to figure out how you win. And if you can, you know, resolve that puzzle, then you can win and take a W. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did today, please make sure to throw a like and subscribe onto my YouTube channel. I'm going to be coming out with videos all throughout this week. I'm getting back on my video a day. At least I'm going to try to. I'm going to do my best. Definitely more videos than I've been coming out with. So, but again, thank you guys all so much. You can check me out on Twitch and Twitter. Both will be located below my channel. You can always follow me there if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing. Again, I have recently joined the Nile, so I'm playing back. I will be playing in the HGC Pro League coming January, so I'm really excited for that. But that is it for me today, guys. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys next video. Cheers.